Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about my personal nursing experience. Have you ever wanted to join the nursing school? Do you think that nursing is the only thing that you can do in life since the demand is high and nothing else is as good? Do you think that nursing is just about giving medicines, injections, IV drips, comforting the patients only? In this video, I'm going to tell you about my personal experience that no one else is going to tell you about. What is nursing? It is no doubt that it is saving lives. You have the privilege of being near the patient all the time for almost 8 to 12 hours a shift, so you will know the changes as you observe the patient that even a doctor do not know. You will know their behavior, intake, output, grooming, and hygiene. As nurses, we are used to the common medications that will be ordered by the doctors through training, and we will inform the doctor if there are mistakes that were spotted. As nurses, we have watched the same procedure done so many times and have practiced it too. After half a year becoming a nurse, I started to learn about a phrase known as nurses eat their young. It sounds terrible, right? As extracted from an article, it is an idiom understood and used by nurses internationally. This idiom has been in use for over 30 years. Nurses eating their young does not literally mean that nurses being cannibalistic with other nurses, but it refers to the bullying behavior experienced in nursing. Bullying is defined as work, personal and physical related negative behaviors such as withholding information, ignoring targets, spreading rumors, and intimidating others. Authors commonly report the existence of bullying against the nursing workforce, including newly licensed nurses, by the physicians, supervisors, and other nurses. A nurse eating their young is almost accepted form of bullying by many nurses, the one that participates in it. Most do not admit even to themselves that they are eating their young, but cleverly disguise their bullying actions by positioning their attitudes and behaviors towards the new nurses as helping, providing educational opportunity. People that have worked in other careers agree that they have encountered this phenomenon in other jobs. However, they are shocked by the prevalence that it occurs in nursing. In my final year of nursing school, when I was almost ready to be a staff nurse, I had my full training in the hospital. I started to encounter full-time nurses that thought that I was not ready to be a nurse and may even talk about it behind my back or even directly to me. However, of course, there will still be some nice and encouraging nurses, but the harsh ones were enough to break the confidence. In a TED Talk by Kathleen Bartholomew, she explained about why nurses eat their young.
Why is there hostility? What is hostility? What is incivility? It's the overt and covert behaviors that we used to put people in their place as humans. We realized there was a hierarchy on the floor. I did the same exercise and I said, who's at the bottom? And the staff said, housekeeping. I was like, really? The lab, cafeteria workers, nursing assistants, nurses, doctors.
She explained that in a hospital, we tend to put ourselves in a hierarchy manner and the housekeeper being the bottom of it. However, she explained that even the housekeeper could look out for the nurses to save someone's lives.
We told everybody that they were important, that they had value, and everybody knew it and felt it. So it was no surprise that 6 months later, Anna, our housekeeper, would save a patient's life. She was sweeping the floor one morning. Everybody else was in report, the doctors hadn't arrived yet, and she heard a thumping sound, just a thumping sound. But because she was so important, because everyone called her by name, she thought, I better check that out, and she opened the door to see a patient in a hard cervical collar with crackers dripping out. Their hands were flailing on the bed, that was the thumping sound. They had already turned blue, and the call light was under the bed on the floor, and Anna saved a patient's life.
Nurses tend to silence themselves out instead of healthy communications for the fear of isolation, retaliation, reaction, or making it worse.
And the answer was fear. And no matter what group I go to, it's the same answers. Fear of retaliation, fear of the reaction, fear of making the situation worse. No time, why bother? Nothing's going to change anyway. Or a fear of hurting somebody else's feelings.
Therefore, nurses tend to fit in like a school of fish instead of opening up for a sincere communication.
And so, researchers studied why do people self-silence? And what they found out is they really value the relationship with each other more than anything else. And where these responses came from is that one day they decided to leave the school of fish and have a conversation with somebody, and then, oops, retaliation, we'll give you a bad assignment, or I'm a physician, you won't get any referrals from me anymore. And they got right back into the school of fish.
Thus, it hurts the culture even more. She explained that any rudeness impair your cognitive to think. She said we need to see each other as individuals. Until people realizes they have values, nothing changes.
We wouldn't tolerate any negativity or rudeness because we knew that simply watching any kind of rude behavior on the unit significantly impaired our ability to think cognitively, and we dismantled this.
Now I'm going to share about my personal experience. In my previous workplace, there was a senior nurse that would point fingers at me and shout at me because she exclaimed that I do not have the same common sense as her to perform tasks. This could make me feel quite dumbfounded at the moment. To make the matter worse, she would shout across the ward and even scold me in front of other patients for something that I do not meet up to her expectations. As a new nurse, I lack many experience, but I was enough to be where I was at the time. I feel I needed more guidance and less of a harsh environment so that I could perform. There are luckily other senior nurses that are willing to guide me along and help me to succeed. Not so lucky sometimes. The nurse manager in the same place was not that pleasant too, and she would shout at me and being unreasonable as well. One of my heartbreaking stories is when I was about to get into the lift to attend a training course for new nurses. She shouted across the lift and blocked the lift door because she knew that I was going to end my employment there and thus not allowing me to get into the lift to get to the training that I was supposed to go. Anyway, I'm still a nurse now and I have to complete my nursing bond too. As a nurse, I walk a lot and barely have time to sit down. I walk about 15,000 steps a day for almost 10 hours a day or sometimes even more for my shift. I also have plantar fasciitis as I have a flat foot, making it difficult for good walking mechanisms and was advised to get an insole by the podiatrist. I'm also using a kinesthetic tape for it to protect my foot and to reduce the pain. In nursing, one will meet people from all walks of life. In some environment, you will also encounter nurses who will pretend to be nice in front of you and talk bad about you to the superior. This is very common in nursing too. When there is a problem, people usually blame others. This is the reason why it is important to do your due diligence and follow the protocol for nursing so that there cannot be any loopholes and to be blamed. You will also learn that integrity is the best policy in a stressful environment of the ward in a hospital. Mistakes could be made, especially when we suffer from negativity from our fellow colleagues. Like Kathleen said in her talks, any rudeness impairs our cognitive ability to think. Stick to the integrity or else the matter may get worse than it was at the start. It is not easy, but it is just the right thing to do. I hope that this will give you some insights about nursing, whether to choose it or not, and if you are in it, I hope that it helps you in some way or another. It is not easy to say that nursing is all that bad, as you will feel a sense of satisfaction and achievement as you completed a task or helped someone in need. It is just an insight into what nursing culture can be like. If you have any questions or comments, do leave in the box below and let me know what do you think. Thank you, see you guys, bye.